Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining me every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, to share it with your friends and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today we have Deepti back with us for another reading from the SSR diaries. Welcome, Deepti.
Namaste, Minaji. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, Minaji, I have a request to you actually. I want you to, have another show on this Pandora's papers that has.
Yes.
It is one of a very, very, very big news because.
We spoke about it yesterday. Actually, we did give in brief news about.
You should keep following it up because thankfully the government has ordered a multi-probe agency into whatever have come up.
Yeah.
Whose names? Because we have IPL teams, we have a cricket superstar, we have the names of an ex-Lieutenant General of Army, holding this,
also Kiran Shah. Kiran Shah, Bicon.
A lot of names are there, and thankfully government has taken the right step that it has ordered a multi-probe agency into it. But we should keep following this news up and see where that probe has reached and what are the outcomes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, just a few words from you, Deepti, about what's happening in this arrest and all that of Aryan. And a few words from you about what's happening.
It's shameful, actually, what's happening. I mean, shameful in the sense that the mainstream media is giving mileage to the stars who are coming in support of Aryan Khan. Aryan Khan, calling him a bacha and whatnot. Okay. And we see
person in the wrong place in the wrong time. Suzanne.
And most of they themselves have been caught with drugs at one point of
time. Many times.
So naturally they can sympathize with each other.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is that one person who was caught with drugs, even I think Gauri Khan was also caught once.
Yes.
At an international airport with marijuana, and Suzanne Khan was caught. They are all free now, and look at their shamelessness. They are coming in support of someone else who has been caught.
Yeah. No, okay, if they say it's okay, look at Shashi Tharoor. See, Shashi Tharoor himself was called to Dubai because his stepson was, arrested by police for drugs, and he had to use his influence to get him out. And now he's saying, poor fella, don't, hound him like this. Look at these people.
He's supposed to be one of the lawmakers, right? Shashi Tharoor.
Saying this, yes.
And he is siding with someone
who's broken the law.
Let me tell you here, Meenaji, that according to this act, National Drugs and NDPS Act, even consumption of drugs or carrying even small amount of drugs is a cognizable and a non-bailable offense.
Yes, at least 1 year they will get.
Yes, 6 months to 1 year any time. But it's a non-bailable offense. Okay. So I don't know what arguments Mr. Manchinde keeps using, that every time he manages to get his elite culprits free from the clutches of law. But it's a matter of great shame, actually. One agency, NCB, without caring for their lives, I think from what I've heard, Samir Vankre sir has been receiving death threats.
Yeah.
Okay, he has been receiving death threats for the fabulous work that he's doing.
Yeah,
they're working hard. They're catching the criminals, and these people are hiring high-paying lawyers. And shame on such lawyers. Actually, such lawyers are also abetting crimes. Encouraging the crimes, the criminals.
Deepti, it's very clear that when he has so much of drugs in his possession, he's a peddler more than a consumer. Okay. Now, when he's peddling means other youngsters are going to be spoiled or addicted. So that is against the law. Okay. Second thing is, on his phone, apparently, they found some pornographic material as well, of some actresses. Now, what is that for? Is it for some vasuli or some extortion? Why is that guy holding that in his phone? So there are many things, So
there are many things. Even the dark web and all, they have. They
are shopping from darknet. Yes.
See, this. I don't want to take that word, but this they have made pornography into a huge business.
Yes.
They either honey trap using that.
Yeah.
And those very videos, in order to, they circulate it on dark web first.
Yeah.
or otherwise they make money by making such kind of hits. I mean, these were the heroes we were worshipping at
Yeah.
one point of time.
Yeah. Also, see, Republic actually spoke to a visitor who had gone for the party, who was an invitee, and he said in all the rooms there were boxes, okay, which would have had drugs because see, there was paper to roll them into like cigarettes, you know. So apparently this was all very well planned. Okay, and this man who's usually who used to visit a lot of rave parties, was surprised, and when they came, they boarded at 12:30, and ultimately the cruise took off at 6:30, and shortly after that they found that the NCB officers had come and Aryan was outside and he was being questioned.
See,
So
obviously,
yeah.
NCB people must have gone in disguise or in a well-planned manner. Otherwise,
Yes, yes,
I mean, what happens is that usually, what
yeah,
the scenario now, Meenaji, I will
yeah,
tell you the practical ground scenario now. Even
yeah,
in NCB,
yeah,
a handful of people, corrupt people, are there who are working.
yes,
They are heavily understaffed, and
yeah,
NCB for Mumbai and Goa is one team under Samir Vankre sir, and they are heavily understaffed for both the states.
yeah,
Okay. So in such a scenario, even only a handful of people are very honest, like Samir
yeah,
Vankre sir, ESP, and the people around him. There are moles in NCB as well.
yeah,
And it has happened. It has happened that whenever they were about to conduct a raid, the information went beforehand, and they would vacate the place, emptying everything.
yes. Yeah, so,
So I
so
think
like Maya says, rice paper roll in every room cabin in the cruise. Now, see, which means not only were they very well planned, it was also a fact that, see, people who have not indulged in it may also indulge in it. So, which means you are making your tribe grow and your sales go up.
naturally, 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 Minaji, as I tell that they have two ways of increasing their business, especially the colleges, some colleges which
Mm.
offer, I mean, even the pubs of Arjun Rampal.
Yeah,
Okay, Arjun Rampal and most of the other stars, they actually circulate these drugs. The IPL after parties, they circulate the drugs. And even in, like, we had a movie called Udta Punjab. Okay,
yes,
recently when I had been to Delhi to meet to the CBI office, I had been towards the Punjab side as well.
yeah,
And the stories that the Punjabi driver was telling us about how during the lockdown the youth were standing in queues outside the medical centers to get some sort of,
mm.
addictive
Yeah,
because these were the drugs were not
yeah,
available at that time. So there were huge lines of youth just for some sort of what substance which will
yeah,
induce some
yes,
sort of
yes,
nasha in them. Okay,
addictive, yeah,
so yes, so that's how they are spoiling the youth as well.
yes. So,
Okay,
because of this, the judges, Supreme Court should all look at it very seriously because it is the youth of India who are going to suffer if they let our people like Aryan free. Because Aryan is not a small bacha. He's a
exactly.
23-year-old man who himself has confessed that for the last 4 years he's been taking drugs. Okay. And now with possession of drugs means he's also selling drugs because there was a lot of money also that the NCB found there.
Yes, of course. I mean, see, and if the viewers are thinking that these people have lots of money to, spend on drugs and everything, our children will be safe and all, then let me tell you that they target children from middle class and
Yes.
lower class as
Yes.
well. Okay, because here they get them addicted once, and when they need again, then they will say, "You bring us more customers, you can get your
Yes.
commission and drugs, your quota of drugs as well."
Yes.
So that's how, if do not be complacent or sit at ease thinking that the problem is somewhere else. It's only in the higher strata of the society where spoiled brats are roaming and all. No,
Yeah.
if it is there, it is in very much in your college institutions and all around you.
Yeah. See, in fact,
So
in Janvi Kukreja's case, this was the scenario because how do you have a party where a drug peddler is also coming and coming for the party and giving stuff? Okay, this plus alcohol to children who are hardly 18 or 19 years. So, and this girl was a victim of this drug abuse. It's very apparent because nobody can hurt a girl, a young girl, 48 wounds in her body. So, see, if we say that it's so distant, that Aryan Khan is there and Janvi is here. No, it's these people who are supplying to these people, these
Exactly.
drug peddlers, and these
Exactly.
are middle class
If
children.
if everything, the call records and what all conversations they had, Aryan Khan and Arvaz Merchant and that other guy, I find his name hard to take,
Yeah,
Mundacha or
yeah,
something. Yeah. So if the call records are made public, you will find many other names.
yes,
You will find even the name of Suraj Panchali. You will find the names of all those people who are actually serial offenders
yeah.
in Bollywood.
Mm.
Okay, but
So,
unfortunately,
and
what is happening is that, Minaji,
yeah,
I mean, even if the agencies like ED and NCB are taking courage and arresting these people using the lawyers, I mean, lawyers are the biggest criminals, I will tell you.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
those who are defending,
They
helping
are the
these people,
dirt. They are the
they
dirt.
are the dirt. Exactly. And he is a businessman. He is doing business with law, Manchinde.
Yes,
Okay. So he is not a legal representative, or he is not someone who upholds the legal system
yeah.
of a country. He is a businessman who is doing business using loopholes of in the legal system. He is allowing his culprits, his allied criminals,
Yeah,
clients
yeah.
to commit crimes and roam free.
You know, I was looking at a picture, an old picture of Sanjay Dutt when he was coming out of jail, and Satish Manishinde was also in the photograph, and he was very thin. After that, this man has changed. Now he himself looks like a don, like Dawood, well fed and well paid. So this
Of
is how,
course,
and he must be saying, let the nepo kids make mistakes, and I can buy more houses.
seriously, I mean, he must be having his own children, right? I don't know. I mean,
They don't care
we
about. See,
they
ethics
don't
and
care
values
about it.
these
Yeah.
people don't have. If they had, they would never get into this. You know,
But then
you
are
will
we
have
so
some,
weak? But
yeah,
then are we
you will
so
have some
weak?
simple lawyers, yeah, but they don't make
But are
money.
we so weak that we will let these few
That
greedy
is what
people rule us?
people should understand that by protesting and mocking them, see the trend for against Aryan was so big that SRK had to send a trend saying I love Aryan. That also did not work. you know so public is very very strong if they
And
are
Minaji,
bent.
yes, another thing which was written in Sushant's diary has come true.
Yeah,
He clearly mentioned in the diaries that these Khans, Salman Khan, Amir Khan, and Shah Rukh Khan, they only maintain enmity in front of the public.
exactly, exactly.
Huh? But at the end of the day, they sit together
Yeah,
and I mean, have drinks and food from the same table. That is
yeah,
what happened. Salman Khan was the first to rush to the home, to
yes.
his home,
And
right? So the true,
Karan Johar
yeah,
and Manish Malhotra cut short their holiday to come and console him.
their holiday, their holiday. Okay, sorry, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I mean, it's so funny. Anyway,
Okay,
okay.
so I think let's start
So
our diary
yeah,
reading.
I will start
Yeah,
reading again. Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
I will start, Minaji.
Okay, please.
It is not mandatory. It is not mandatory to taste success or be victorious in the first attempt. What is most important is how we follow up on our failures and how we learn out of it. Any task that is pending, it is up to us how we want to finish it. If we don't have the talent, also, it does not make much of a difference. If you have the intent to achieve and can work hard towards your goal, talent is just one aspect of the journey, not the root of the journey. Unless man realizes to trust his instinct and himself over the negativity and the problems the society throws on him, there is no way he is ever going to succeed in the society today. If there is one person who would pat your back, there would be 10 people who would be ready out there waiting to spit on your face and point out the mistakes you have made. The biggest irony in the society is you have a whole lot of blunders you have created and are facing the music for it. But you wait for one small mistake someone else would make just to throw all your insecurities on him. The biggest mistake as humans we do is when we have differences with people, we just cut them off. I definitely agree this is the best thing to do. But some people do it unintentionally or unknowingly. These people definitely deserve a second chance. It's up to us to be able to judge this. and react accordingly. Because it's very easy to snap, but very difficult to forgive. The wise say, forgive the person, but never forget the matter. Because by forgiving, you throw that load off your brain. And not by not forgetting, you make sure that you do not have to go through it all over again. Here comes the catch of the matter, which everyone needs to take it deep down in their minds and heart. Because when life stands as a challenge in front of your face, it's these thoughts that will help you look into the eye of all your problems and tell your problems that you are too stronger for them to put you down. Never ask God not to give you problems. Instead, pray to give you the strength to fight your way out. Because if you have the strength and courage to fight your way out of any problem, then you would never be scared of any kind of situation that you are about to face. This is life, and this is the need of the hour too. How much you can stand up for yourself without having to depend on others. But again, here the definition of others too holds an important context in the discussion of life. If there is someone in life who is there only for you, then this person is you yourself. But how you understand who this person is, it is your conscience that will show you the right path. One humble request to everyone, each and every word that you read here in this work of mine, you please go back into the pages of history and see for yourself what you will find out if you use your intellect and try and connect to all this with a detached mind. The facts will come staring on your face, and you will realize all by yourself that this is what has been happening all this while, and this is the fact that has been kept hidden from us since eternity. The chapters to follow will put more light on these issues, and we all will see how deep and dirty these scenes are. And what is the issue that is out there and rings out loud? That there has been a foul play that has been happening since eternity, and it's us who couldn't see through things as a matter of fact. If I now go back and read through the lines, the one thing that I too realize is that there was no way anyone could actually make out what was going wrong because the media were turning hooligans into heroes and were making sure that they continued doing it. I have spoken about how irresponsible reporting from media did the damage and how bad an impact it had on public property and also the lives of innocents. But now, when I have gotten to hear about things and I am able to see through it, my mind is making these connections, and the right way to go forward is bring the news out that is forgotten and show the involvement of these people in various other instances where their names made it to the top story. And the reports also came out now here, according to me. This is one way we can catch the entire system by the throat with some select questions. The sequence that will follow now below is the response that we have gotten to hear all this while. And my questions I would raise as a counter to those responses. Media was taking their grudge out on us, and there were no evidences or grounds on the allegations they have made on us. All this was just to defame our image publicly. Fine. In that case, why did you not take the media to task? The media did not do this once. If it happened once, and if you say that it's a waste of time to fall down to the level of that person who is trying to defame you, and you have other better things to do, I perfectly agree and understand. But how is it that in every instance your name came up and still you were silent? What does this conclude? All the reports that have come out are fabricated and are far from the truth. There is nothing like this that ever happened. It's just a bunch of people who have personal scores to settle with us and hence doing all these sort of things. So you mean to say that the agencies are here only to take personal grudges on you? And if that is the case, what is the action that you have taken on this committee or the panel that did the investigation? And is it not a risk to our nation that such people are in such positions where important decisions are taken? Is it not like giving the control in the hands of a thug? चोर को कोतवाल बना देना types? What do you feel here? The inputs which the same agencies have given on various matters are right, and on some matters it is grudge. What do you want to portray? Why is this selective judgment of the agencies? The reports are not from newspapers or common citizens. The reports are from the people who have been given a responsibility in some organization which has to take care of the society. So, what do you want to add up here? What can we do? We are trying and making sure that we will deliver results soon, but the things are under investigation now. Fine. Till where has the investigation reached? What is the current status of things? Where do they stand? During the course of your investigations, certain people were arrested. Now they are out on bail. On what grounds was the bail given? And why is it that you people were silent when the bail was given? Don't you think that these people coming out can damage the case and also hamper the investigation process and delay it further? What do you have to say here? Please enlighten us. There are so many questions in my mind, but if I try to summarize all these questions, these are the ones that I can think of when we shall come out, when we shall come together and start this together. If you have your own questions, you are free to add it in your own questions. And moreover, you can also present your inputs too. My only mission is to bring these issues out to the public eye, and then it's an open discussion. We all can join hands together and work towards this. If we all stand together, then there is no one who can pull us down. And if someone even tries to do this, then the number game will come into the picture. So it becomes very important that we ensure we all are a team and work towards a common goal. The modus operandi is very simple. A remedy scheme is announced, a politician gets to know of the scheme, the politician businessman connections start, the broker network is activated, then the actual game is played. Then the quotas are shared. Then the blame game is played. Then there is a case filed. Then the administrative game, what has been happening for years: arrests, interrogations, investigations, and bail. We all have to make sure that we have all these points in our mind when we start taking things up one by one. The reason I am telling one by one is as simple as this. If we get one issue to conclusion, then we will find so many connections to so many cases that most of the other incidents too will get connected, as all these are interlinked. When I start, I am sure a lot of people will laugh on me. But as soon as I get my first breakthrough, people for sure will realize that everything is interlinked and connected. This is what we all need to realize. Go back in the pages of history and see for yourself. You will know that every word that I am speaking makes perfect sense. I am not giving myself a certificate, but I want my people to realize that this is the truth. Every issue that has ever come up or will come up is totally connected to one and other. And the biggest irony is that the things that are coming out as cases are only those which the people who are handling the systems now want us to know or see. If they do not want us to see or know or hear about a certain thing, then it will die down an instant death and no one will ever know about it. The things you see making news are only those things which these people want us to see. If something really is happening and it doesn't make it out in the news and remains in the mouths and words of people, then it means that the matter is something which these people who are sitting on our heads never wanted people to know. Look at any case and then study the incidents that have happened around it. So many reports were presented, but none of them ever made it out on public domain. And there is something called as image cleanup that happens too, which in itself is another cancer on the society. The concept here is simple. Buy the page and the page is yours. Most of the popularity the wrong people get is with this trick. Buy the page and then the page is yours, no matter if the page is full of BS. If your bank account has a lot of zeros in them, which can come on your checkbook favoring these people, or on your UPI, NEFT, RTGS, or IMPS, then you can do anything that you want to, and you will be successful in whatever you want to achieve. I am writing all this because I want everyone to understand that we all have to put pressure on the government and ask them, where do all these zeros vanish? We all know what is the tax structure in our country. So we all should gear up and ask these questions and seek answers to these questions, because we only see these rich people climb the ladder and make riches for themselves. So this is how we should proceed in our work. Number one, ask those people who make all the profits the taxes they have paid. Number two, ask the authorities what happened to all the money that was generated through the taxes. It's our money that comes back to us in the form of all these remedial measures or schemes that the government introduces. I pray to God that there should not be any issue wherein the country would need our help to get things back to normal. But the only thing that I would like to openly talk about here is that the need for the accountability of every penny spent has to be brought into practice, because unless we do this, there is no ways we will reach any conclusion. I'm sorry if you are getting confused here, but the point that I want to raise here is that it's our hard earned money that we pay as taxes that is being mishandled or misused. The reason why I say it is being misused is because we are not taking the accountability of the situation. If we start taking accountability of everything, then there will be pressure everywhere. And that's when these people will commit a mistake. And that mistake will work as the final nail in the coffin. The situation we are in is like we are walking off thin string of thread, and on one side there is a deep pit, and the other side there is fire. If we take stock of situation, we can add width to this thin string of thread and make it bridge. If not, the thickness of the thread will increasingly continue to decrease till it is totally gone, and once it is gone, there is nothing left where we can actually raise a voice. Look at this, which I am going to speak about now. This was one incident which sent shockwaves around the nation and also showed the probable links certain terrorist organizations have with the politicians in the country. This incident also went ahead and gave a lot of inputs about the funding and the exact module of these operations work and how it is executed. Not just the statements that were told to the police and recorded in the court, but also some statements and narrations which never fell on any ears and were silenced with the passage of time. If have gotten a hint around it, there is nothing like it. But if not, then let me tell the next incident that I'm going to speak about is the Hawala scandal, which came out in 1999 and shook the entire country. How it started, how it came out, and how many names came out, and somehow, somewhere, the connection to IPL too. Let us start from the beginning. It started in 1991 when an arrest linked to militants in Kashmir exposed the Hawala brokers for the very first time. And when raids were conducted, evidences were found to large scale payments made to national politicians. A little later, the court proceedings which Supreme Court published, and as per this report judgment that was published, Ashfaq Hussain Lone Ashfaq Hussain Lone, a person who was alleged to be connected to the Hizbul Mujahideen, was arrested in Delhi. And during the course of his investigations, he revealed his organization was funded by Surendra Kumar Jain using Hawala. And based on these inputs, when the CBI raided the premises of Surendra Kumar Jain, his brothers, his relatives, and their businesses. During these raids, the CBI seized Indian and foreign currencies, 2 diaries, some say 5 diaries, and 2 notebooks. These had detailed information about various payments made, the amounts were huge, and the entries mentioned in these books were only initials. And when the investigations went further, these initials made connections to both the ruling and the non ruling parties, both state and central parties, and high ranked bureaucrats too. Suddenly, the investigations were stopped, and the officers who were involved in the case were transferred to other places by the ruling party. And much to the shock of all the journalists who were pursuing the case, the opposition party never raised any objection to these transfers. Here in this chapter, I will be using this star asterisk symbol in a lot of places because I have to make notes of what I have concluded and what was obvious, which was not actually shown the way it should have shown. Strange, right? Officers were transferred and the opposition was quiet. And the media too did not make any fuss around it. Now tell me, does this not look like a well planned story? That the opposition is pin drop silent and never uttered a word on these transfers? You see, from the time this game of politics started, there was lots there was always this where the ruling party and the opposition parties fought like cats and dogs. Every time there was the slightest of the opportunity to point a finger on each other, they never backed off. And moreover, when the party in power failed in a task, they said they put the blame on the opposition. And when the opposition wants to put pressure on the ruling government, they do the same too. And the media milks on these statements to get their daily bread and butter. Now tell me, is it not too good to be true that there was not a word that was uttered? Think for yourself. I believe each one of us is wise enough to arrive at conclusions and understand the essence of the matter. There came a change in the standings of the case when in 1993 several writ petitions were filed in the Supreme Court of India under the Article 32 of the Constitution of India that spoke about how government agencies like CBI and revenue authorities failed to perform their duties and legal obligations, and they did not give any importance to Jain diaries, and the contents of the diaries was not investigated properly, and also that the apprehension of the terrorists that pointed out conclusive evidences to the funds they had received through Hawala transactions. And when the initial investigations happened, the CBI did find out that there was some strong connection for sure between the politicians, the bureaucrats, and criminals. And the standout point here is that these people also received money through these Hawala channels and from unlawful sources too. The petitions also rose strong points showing how the CBI and the other government agencies that were involved in this had failed to investigate the matter, take it to a logical conclusion, and prosecute all the people who were mentioned and were found to have committed an offense. The writ petitions also went ahead to read that this was done with an intention to protect the people, those who were involved, and these people were very, very powerful and influential too. The matter disclosed the nexus between crime and corruption in high public offices, and it posed a serious threat to the integrity, security, economy of the nation, and the probity in public life. The petitions also had spoken about how democracy had become a joke, and it is very important that agencies take this matter up seriously and work towards getting the case to a logical conclusion, as this was not just the duty of the agencies, but it was a huge question mark on the legal system, which always says that the law is the same for all. The reports also stressed on the fact that the politicians, those who were involved in this too, were taken to task, as these Hawala transactions are a poison to the country and the economy because of two reasons. One, Hawala transactions, I have explained how they work and how secretive they are. Two, Hawala brokerage, if stopped, could potentially put a full stop to corruption and black money, because this was, is, and always remain potentially the easiest way to transfer funds. And the charges that were involved too were nothing when compared to the charges that the banks charge for high volume transactions. And moreover, Hawala network is available everywhere. You do not need any kind of internet or other connection to initiate or execute a transaction. The Hawala scandal took some very, very respectful names, and these names, when I go ahead and reveal them, you will for yourself be shocked to know these names. And once these names are out, you see for yourself where they are now and what they are doing. You will know how lame and weak our legal systems are. This name list reads as follows: L.K. Advani, V.C. Shukla, Devi Lal, Sharad Yadav, Balram Jhakar, Madan Lal Khurana, Anwar Ali, a businessman entrepreneur from Hyderabad. There were a lot of other names too that made it to the list, like Bal Thackeray, Sharad Pawar, Digvijay Singh, Rajesh Pilot, H.D. Dev Gowda, I.K. Gujral, and many more. But these names did not make it out to the list and never came out because these were the people who were working on instructions from the names on the list I mentioned above. These names, and this is a fact, because the diaries that were found had all these initials mentioned in them, but the agencies never let them come out, and it was silenced altogether. And these names were removed from the list just because the game of power was getting affected. The amounts that were exchanged varied from rupees 50,000 to rupees 7.5 crores. The case went on till 1997 to 1998. Eventually, all of this collapsed, and all the people were let out free as the court felt that the diary and other records that were presented to the court as inadequate to be concluded as main evidence. The Central Bureau of Investigation's role was heavily criticized, and in concluding the case, the Supreme Court directed that the CVC, Central Vigilance Commission, to be given supervisory role over the CBI. As soon as all this made out in the news, the first person to resign was L.K. Advani. And later in 2015, he gave a public statement that he resigned over the Hawala because he listened to his conscience. And this statement was seen as a veiled message Lalit Modi and the other businessmen in the IPL to also take moral responsibility over the Modigate scandal. Now that I have spoken about this, let me now go ahead and tell you where you, where you will find all these names and references to the names that I have taken. Just visit the Supreme Court website. Or if you can get the records from the Supreme Court, just look up for Vinit Narayan versus the Union of India case. You will find all this and a lot more in there. The judgment that followed did not make any connection to the Hawala scam, but this Hawala scandal caused the Supreme Court to rule out that landmark judgment, where the Supreme Court of India ruled that from that day onwards, no one can transfer a CBI director for a term of 2 years. This judgment was totally summed up to 26 points, and these points were so strong that no one from politics could make any amendment, and also there was no scope left for anyone to change anything in this judgment, hence giving a free hand to the CBI to carry out their investigations without any political pressure. But I feel even today this pressure is always there. This case got me to realize two things. One, we have to be very wise with whom we elect, as these politicians play a very important role in shaping up our country. You can actually be a fan and admire someone, but do not be a blind fan. If you find out that the person whom you are following is wrong, then you should give up on them without a second thought. Because the only way we can get a change in this society or make these people change is making them realize where they are going wrong. And if they repeat the same mistake again, show them the door. Number two, the high profile cases that have been compromised in the country have some names that can create a lot of tensions and make a lot of people have restless nights. It's because of this that the pressure is put on the agencies, and even if reports are generated, there is no logical conclusion achieved in these cases. Now the time has come where we all have to stand up for this and make sure we ask the right set of questions to drag these issues out again, and make sure that we find answers to these questions. Now, with this case, when it is clear that we have to stand up and make our voices heard and make sure that the changes we want to see in the society, we ourselves work towards them. For me, this is my moment where my eyes are opened and I want to do something for my country and my society, for my people and the citizens of my country. These people say that if the politicians are taken to task, then there will be a hit on the economy of the country. But the fact is that we are the economy of our but the fact is that we are the economy of our country, and we are the people who are responsible for the economy to stay intact, not any corrupt politician who does not have any respect for himself or his country. The role of a politician is so responsible that he actually becomes the representative of the constitution and the assembly of that particular area. And when this person does such a crime, then there is no excuse for him. because he has made a crime which is unpardonable. Wake up, India, and see through things. If you cannot, then it will be too late. These politicians are not our bosses. We are their bosses. We are the people who have to now start asking some tough questions to these people. Enough of their golden days. Now we don't put a full stop to this dream run of theirs. Now, if we don't put a full stop to this dream run of theirs, then our lives will become hell. So it's really up to us what we conclude this with. When the Hawala scandal clearly showed that there was involvement of terrorists with politicians and still the issue was brushed aside, how do you want to conclude here? What other can be more important than for a fact when you know who the enemy of our country is? Still, you join hands with them, and such a person is let go and still continues in the system without any opposition. After seeing this and hearing about this, I would not be wrong to write here that maybe the hijacking incidents and other incidents which have been the freedom tickets the freedom tickets to terrorists too might have been negotiated as one of these deals which happened under the table with one of these people cracking the deal for the same. What other conclusion can be derived here? Such are our leaders who have been having so many black marks and yet they are up there on the top. Most positions. Mehaji, I would like to read this again.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Hawala scandal clearly showed that there was involvement of terrorists with politicians and still the issue was brushed aside, how do you want to conclude here? What other can be more important than for a fact when you know who the enemy of our country is, still you join hands with them, and such a person is let go and still continues in the system without any opposition? After seeing this and hearing about this, I would not be wrong to write here that maybe the hijacking incidents and other incidents which have been the freedom tickets to terrorists too might have been negotiated as one of these deals which happened under the table with one of these people cracking the deal for the same. What other conclusion can be derived here? Such are our leaders who have been having so many black marks, and yet they are up there on the topmost positions and still going on as if nothing ever is wrong anywhere. People, I want to ask this question here: is what is happening is right? Look at the connections and the connected incidents that are following one scam is connected to the other and that ends up getting connected elsewhere. And the pattern and the team doing it is one and the same. And this has been going on. Tell me, is this right? What nonsense is going on in the system? How can one take it for granted? And how can one sell his own country for his own vested interests? Is this what we all got freedom for? Is this why our forefathers gave their life and shed their blood for? Is this not a matter of great shame on everyone? It is not too late yet. We all are on the brink of it, where we have to take that call and stand up for humanity. Because if we don't do it now, then we will only have ourselves to blame for it. This is all in front of our eyes now. If we close our eyes, then we have no future. Choice is yours. I am going ahead in my task. It's up to you what you want to do. Do you still want to sit back and relax and suffer in pain and be used to the situation? Do you want to work towards the change and make it happen? In this world, the only definition of good or bad is in the eyes of the looker, and it's up to the individual mindset to decide what the minds want to conclude on. No one is anyone to take any decision for anyone, because if someone wants to change, then he has to decide it for himself, and it has to come from his inner self. Unless this happens, there is no way any positive change can happen, because the perspective in which a person sees his own life, it's up to him to decide what he wants to do. Confidence and willpower are two things that can make you or break you. If you have the confidence and the willpower to achieve something, then there is nothing that can hold you back. But if you think you cannot do it, then there is no one who can help you do it. So understand this and digest it. The Hawala scandal was kept hidden because it is believed that this Hawala network has played a major role in most of the incidents that have happened in our country. And once the issue came out, Hawala networks went silent for like 8 months, but came back 10 times stronger and continues to run even to this date. And the names that were involved in the Hawala scandal have reached a position today where they cannot be touched. And the domination of the Hawala network on the economy is an entire different chapter in itself altogether. Vinit Narayan versus Union of India. Whenever a mention to the Hawala scam would be made, this person, the journalist, who continued to follow it up and made sure that the issue did not die down, Vinit Narayan needs a special mention and deserves all the respect too. And also, this person stands out as an example to all those journalists and other people too, because Narayan did his job. Because Narayan did his job to perfection, and indeed is an example to all we people out there. Not just the Hawala scam, Vinit Narayan had done other major revelations too. And the standout of all this was when we waged an open war and started to expose the corruption, the judiciary too, for which there was a contempt of court charge put on him, which forced him to go underground for over a year and start exposing the corruption that had happened in the judiciary.
We just wait for her to join, friends. Yeah, friends. Yeah, we'll just wait for her to join. So, meanwhile, let me just take some of your interesting comments. Presence of dark web and misuse, scam of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is also evident with the arrest of Aryan. He confessed the communications through the dark web, Shilpi says. Sonia, sadly, PM needs Bollywood and company to stay in power and maintain votes. To ensure they seat, they won't even stop actual crime and clean up. Seems everyone is helpless here. No, Sonia, here I wouldn't agree because a lot of work is being done. And see, it's too powerful and too, the system is so entrenched with dirt, evil, that it's not easy to clean it so quickly. So it's happening. If it was, can you imagine if it was Sonia Gandhi's regime? What would have happened? All this would have been hidden in a day or two. So try to give due credit to the prime minister because he's trying his best also. It's humanly impossible to clean what these underworld and Bollywood have done. It's impossible to clean it. You just see when one Aryan is down, other 10 people raise their heads. It's like a 10-headed snake. All the Sunil Shetty and the Suchitra Krishnamurti, all people, even Hrithik Roshan's wife, who everybody knows is into drugs. So it's like the system is so infested, it's so dirt filled that it's not easy to clean it, and yet they're doing it. I mean, the 3 or 4 agencies that are under the center are doing their work. Yes, we are not getting much information from CBI. That's the only niggling doubt. But otherwise, see, we are happy with what NCB is doing. People from current center government are also involved in this mess. And how to expect CBI to come to the closure on any case? Retire everyone. Okay, let me just add, Deepti. Yeah. Yes, Deepti.
I'm sorry, Minaji, there was some.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I also received some message saying that I have not spelled that veiled message, and there's something in the comment section. There's someone mentioned it about some veiled message. It's not. It's VEILED message.
Yeah,
It's
veiled.
not
Yes,
WH.
veiled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
veiled
veiled
message. Yeah,
Yes,
it's not
yes.
veiled message. It's veiled message.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So I will continue. All right.
Yeah, please.
So the Hawala scandal was kept hidden because it is believed that this Hawala network has played a major role in most of the incidents.
Yes.
I have read that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Vinit Narayan versus Union of India. Whenever a mention to the Hawala scam would be made, this person, the journalist who continued to follow it up and made sure that the issue did not die down, Vineet Narayan needs a special mention and deserves all the respect too. And also, this person stands out as an example to all those journalists and other people too, because Narayan did his job to perfection and indeed is an example to all we people out there. Not just the Hawala scam, Vinit Narayan has done other major revelations too. And the standout of all this was when he waged an open war and started to expose the corruption, the judiciary too, for which there was a contempt of court charge put on him, which forced him to go underground for over 2.5 years, and he had to flee from the country too. And back then, there was not a single person in the entire bar council who would want to stand up for Narayan as everyone feared. They would be held for contempt of court too. However, some foreign organizations did stand up for Vinit, but again, there was nothing much that could happen. And as always, nothing concluded. But the man was successful in opening a lot of eyes and also bringing out some tough and real facts which were hidden from the people of our country until then. This person deserves immense respect and also is a man of very strong character too, because every time he had shown the world that he is someone who lives up to his values and has a strong character and a very strong conscience, which he would never compromise with. His basic principles, and this is there on record too, when he resigned from the Desh Bhakta Trust, which was started by T.N. Session. He became a part, supported the activities of the trust, and also worked actively in the trust, only until he found out that the founder was slowly beginning to get involved with corrupt people and was on the verge of getting donations from them. The man resigned from the trust and made sure he made all the patrons who were in any way associated to this trust aware of the facts and walked out of this too. This for me was something which I feel needs a strong willpower for anyone to actually do or achieve. And also, this is for me the best example to actually judge the character of this man. In addition, in addition, TN session. Was I clear in spelling out TN session, Minaji? Vinit Narayan was in a trust which was formed by TN session. In addition to all of this, the same person, Vinit Narayan, who played a major role in the installation of the CBI, as it was his PIL that played the role of the whistleblower, and the Supreme Court came out with that landmark judgment which I had discussed earlier. If you want proof or are someone who wants to get to the root of some serious issues in our country, then I would recommend you to read the following two books authored by Vinit Narayan. 1. भ्रष्टाचार आतंकवाद और हवाला कारोबार. 2. अदालत की अवामनाना कानून का दुरुपयोग. Both these books are in Hindi and speak volumes about a lot of untold stories, some dirty facts, and also exposes a lot of information which the people of our country should know. I strongly recommend you people to read this book and also try and get to read the complete judgment ruled out in the Hawala scam case. You would need no other proof to convince yourself or anyone around you that our country has been facing the wrath of these corrupt people and has silently bled and is bonded in chains of corruption and people's selfish intentions. Bharat Mata is crying for help and I can feel it strongly. People, please understand that we all owe our existence to our motherland, and it is our moral duty to stand up for her and all our brothers and sisters. Since 1947, we are only free from the British, but still are under the slavery of corruption and cheap politics, which is being played on us every now and then. These scams can be stopped if we become more wise, if we start putting pressure, if we start taking stock of the situation. My simple question to everyone: this scam showed the involvement of politicians and terrorists. These terrorists have been responsible for so many deaths and tragedies that have been written in blood in the books of history. We all remember the brave hearts who laid their lives down to restore peace, and we do shed a silent tear in their memory on these dates. But these jackals are the reason all that has happened. And if we do not want to see these incidents happen in the future, we send these jackals to where they belong, but not before making sure they open up on what exactly had happened and what is the entire truth behind all that had happened till now. And once we get to know this, we need to make sure we isolate all these jackals and keep them away from the regular criminals, even from those who are on death penalty too. These people are totally poisonous for the country and society, and there is no way possible these people can do any good to anyone ever in their life, ever in their lifetime, because corruption and deceit runs through their blood. And these people have made sure that it has impacted the development of our nation and also made sure that we stay where we are. No moving forward, no going back. The stalemate situation that is now predominant in the society is only because these people are still out there walking free and have no pressure on their brains. Just imagine for petty crimes, the bail is rejected on the grounds that if the accused is let out, there comes a possibility of him destroying the evidences and diverting the process of the investigation. Then what happens to this philosophy in these cases? Does this logic not hold good here? Strange and confusing is the way in which our legal system works. The bias clearly shows that the system favors the people, those who have money and power, and the law is locked in the closets of these people. And the law is locked in the closets of the people in power and the people who are in the opposition. This Hawala case had clearly shown the involvement of CMs, governors, top diplomats, and bureaucrats, and the case was never heard from the Hawala angle. What does this point out to? Do we even understand that the system and the people who run it are making sure that the real issues never come out to light? And any issue that makes its way to the court has to run through the scanner which stand on its path in the form of these people. And only after it is ensured that it is not a threat to the existence of these people does it make its way out in the news or to the courts of law. There has to be severe reforms, and some strong steps too have to be taken in this accord. And we all have to stand up and make sure that we continue to raise our voice against these corrupt practices till we put a full stop on them, because with this kind of atmosphere and this mindset of the people who are out there as our leaders, there is no chance, even the slightest of it, that we will ever get to see our country as a developed nation, developed country. And we can see even the P of prosperity in our country. Any positive step anyone wants to take, till this cabal continues to exist, there is no way the actual thing would reach the intended target. The condition that is happening now reminds me of that game we all might have played in our childhood, where one name used to start from a point and reach the end point through each ear that was on the path. And when it reached the last person, the original word would have changed. This is exactly what I want to point out as the summary of my explanation. The case where Vinith took on the case where Vinith took on the judicial system, he was booked for contempt of court. He ran away from the country and did not return till the then CJI retired. I will repeat this, Minaji. Okay. This is exactly what I want to point out as the summary of my explanation. The case where Vinith took on the judicial system, he was booked for contempt of court. He ran away from the country and did not return till the then CJI retired. The matter of fact is that there is a lobby of these corrupt people established everywhere, and this lobby is responsible for most of the games played at every level. And is also a matter of fact that it is the same set of people who make a mockery of the legal setup in our country. The organizations that are bound to the setups, the agencies that work for them, and finally the public offices that represent them. It might be wrong or a little harsh here when I quote this, but unfortunately for me, when I revisit the lanes down the chapters of history, my heart says the British left the country after making sure that they had their next generation in Indian skin, a updated version of their vision, and a strong foundation to making sure that our country and its rich cultural heritage lived in suffocation till it was the time the British were here. We knew who our enemies were, but now we do not have much of an idea who they are. Though this statement might look a little funny now, but as a matter of fact, and to conclude the matter, there have been more instances than one where certain names that made out took us by shock, and we were left searching for words. And our entire thought process too took a major hit because of these exposures that have been made time and over again. Narayan was successful in getting to light a lot of things, and yet he did not get the required support, which I feel if it is given to him, then it will be an entire different ball game altogether. I'm calling it a different ball game here because this man has the experience of these things. He has done it in the past. He will continue from where things went stalemate for him, and pressure start building up. The only weapon these people who are on the receiving end play to perfection is the psychological mind games, where they not just target the person who is standing on their path, but they make sure that the psychological war that they have scripted has a social touch to it too, and this is how they pull you down. So I completely understand what might have made Narayan to step back. And also I know it now for a fact that why the court did not go to the Hawala side of the case. Sometimes I begin to strongly feel that the connections which are the backbone of the nexus has been successful in having a strong hold everywhere, and some of them are in top positions today. If one rumor that came out during this time, calling it a rumor because though Narayan was hinting towards this, no media house took this up, and Narayan too had to flee the country in order to save himself, was that the CJI himself could be involved in a lot of incidents that have had happened during this time. I think, Minaji, I'll just take a break from Sushant's diaries here. I think the CJI during this time was ex-CJI Adarsh Sen Sarma. Minaji, your voice is not audible.
Okay, I was just caught up with some of these trolls. Yes, yes,
Okay.
Deepti? Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
No,
what were you-
the CJI in Vineet Narayan's case that Sushant is mentioning, I just wanted to inform the viewers that
Yes.
he is ex-CJI Adarsh Sen Sharma, I think his
Okay,
name.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And this news is available on the website as well. This Vineet Narayan versus the Union of India case.
Okay.
Though no one, yeah. So, okay. So the only thing that makes me write this here, despite knowing that there were no claims made on this statement ever, and it remained on those village ballads, which are heard of, but none of the characters of the ballad are seen, and sometimes are fictitious too. The fact that Narayan fled from the country and did not even think of returning till the CJI was retired makes me think on these grounds that does this statement, which never came out and was buried as instantly as it came out, has some element of truth in it? Now, assumptions and speculations can be made on a lot of things, but what remains to be studied and understood is how deep has Narayan gone in all this? And is it worth to actually get the inputs from him in some cases? In some cases, I will have to do some research around this and then come to a conclusion. But if seen from a detached perspective, as an outsider, it indeed says that Narayan could play a very important and unique role here. But then that check should be made before we start to make connections, because it's always safe to know the pit you are going to fall into. As for a matter of fact, the one thing we all need to start practicing and tell ourselves, if by any chance you think of getting into such battles, is that We are on the verge of falling into a huge pit from where potentially there might be no escape route back. This is just to make us prepared for the worst because the people who are going to take on, because the people whom we are going to take on are the seasoned campaigners who have been doing this for years now and are continuing to do so because there is no obstacle in their path. The names the Hawala scam pointed out to were indeed very big and very powerful ones. But the question, that goddamn question, still remains. Why was there no action taken in this context? In this case, I want to make sure that when we get this matter out, I will leave no stones untouched to make the public realize and make them also aware of the importance of these questions. 1. Why was the Hawala angle silenced? 2. The names that came out had a list of politicians in it too. Why was this angle not taken up seriously by the court? 3. What were the parameters taken into consideration when the judgment was written? 4. Terrorist confessions and the other strong pointers too told the same story. Then why is it ignored? 5. What is national security? The reason this question has to be asked is because a link of a top leader with a terrorist is established, but here no one really bothered to get the man whose name has popped out and ask some tough questions. I would say grill, but then till we get to know the story from both the sides, we should not be too quick to judge. But yes, we have all the right to shoot our questions out. When such a huge issue is looming, still, why is when such a huge issue is looming, still why is it that these people are not taken to task? 6. I left one line blank here to stress on the importance of this word time. How long, the gap to be used here, does it really take for you to understand what a case is and give your judgment? 7. Is it really that tough to be on the side of truth and keep facts out the way they made it to you? 8. Why is it written in the Constitution that everyone has equal rights to get justice when the reality is far, far from this? 9. What are the agencies here for if the politicians can play with them as and when they want to? 10. Why is there not an eligibility criteria for politics when every other seat in the country has one? Why not pass a law for the same, that if criminal records are found on you, then you cannot contest? Is it not time to make changes in the Constitution too? Please agree with me if you find that the questions which are raised here are apt and are the need of the hour. The cars upgraded from Ambassador to Range Rover, BMW, and whatnot. Then what is the reason these upgrades are not made in the rule books that are used while a case is under progress? Don't you feel the need for this? I do, because I personally feel our rule books over a period of time now have become predictable and easy to be played with. We all need to ensure that we break this bias and ensure that we do not stop till one rule, one judgment is established. Rich or poor, powerful or common citizen, the way you will be treated in court or in a legal establishment would be same. We have to make an effort to achieve this sooner. That's when the real development of our country will happen. If not, we will have nowhere to go and this will get worse. Try and understand and also digest this as soon as possible that the situation in the country is currently at that stage where if something goes wrong, there can be a huge collapse, there can be a potential breakdown, and a situation will come where our national security might get exposed too. I am not sure what is making me say all this, but my gut feeling strongly says this is on cards, and the day is not far off. For a moment, I feel here I need to make a mention of one thought or assumption of mine that has been disturbing me for quite some time now. There was a public tiff between Advani and Modi ji, where everyone started throwing mud on Modi ji for not respecting a person who got him into politics. Now, after I have gotten to hear about this Hawala story, do you think I would be wrong if I might conclude that Advani has his hands in the assassination attempt on Modi ji? that was planned, which never could take shape? Time will tell. But this thought, this thought has haunted my mind for some time now, and I am not sure how well this will be received. Let me make one point very clear here. I am an individual who has my own brain, and I have all the rights to use my brain and think of every angle and possibility that can actually work in the favor of truth. You are too. So let's be respectful of each other. This is my assumption based on my instinct and gut feeling. So I am forced to strongly think on these grounds. Wrong or right will only come to light when some questions that form out of the essence of the matter are answered. If not, not just this assumption, a lot more assumptions and connections can be made, and this will make the game more dirtier. But if that is the need of the hour, I will work around it and make sure all these questions are asked in the right way without raising any allegation on anyone. But the right for us to know a fact is universal, and no law can deny it. What is needed here is the strength in the voice. When the voice makes out the day, a voice makes out, changes to voices make their way out, we will see changes happen. For sure. The only reason till now no positive development ever happened is because the voices that made out could be counted using fingers. We have to make sure that we become countless. And when this happens, the cabal will be optionless and the system will be helpless. But to hear us out, this is what we have to achieve. And I will make sure that I will go that extra mile if need to make this happen. Because the wise always said, if you believe in yourself and work hard towards it, you can achieve it. And your thoughts play a major role in creating situations for you. If you think you can do it, you definitely can do it, provided you stick on to it. You only take positive energies with you, not the negative energies, who will try and pull you down. Often, what happens is that when something constructive or something new is to happen, no one wants to stand up for it. My simple question to everyone would be, when you do not want to come out of your cocoon, how can you fly? If you have seen the process, how a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly on its way out from the cocoon, you will understand why are the struggles required before you come out in flying colors. Meenaji,
Yeah.
for
Yes.
today I will stop here. Today, actually, the slides which I covered today, I think there was more of motivational thoughts from Sushant.
Yeah.
Of course, there was a big angle of Hawala and the names that came out, and
Yeah.
also Vineet Narayan's story.
Yeah.
So after that, I came to know. After reading this, I did some research, and then I came to know about this great journalist Vineet Narayan,
Yeah.
sir, who is still
I
there.
think
I
many
mean,
of
I
them
think,
on viewers are also now researching on that.
yeah, yeah, he's working for local publications, regional
Yes.
publications, I think now.
Yes. Yeah.
But see, I mean, we are coming to know about him now. I started researching on him, and so a lot of information is there. I mean, it will make us aware. I mean, if we go through these diaries, it will make us really aware of how we stand as a country, as a nation,
Yes. Yes.
and what we need to do to make it more better, or I mean rectify our mistakes. See, we are not here to point fingers on anyone,
Yeah.
and I believe even Shushant never wanted to point fingers on anyone.
Mm.
He just wanted, yeah, it's, we don't want to blame anyone or something. Yes, some people have taken, have exploited the country's resources and have played with the wealth of the nation, cheating the common man of their hard-earned taxes. Okay, we just want the situation to be rectified. We are not too interested in like these people should face hell. All of them should go to jail. This is practically not
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yes, it's a request to all those people who are high up there in the power and all. You have earned enough.
Yeah.
You have earned enough. You have many accounts overseas in Swiss banks and all that. So I think it's time now you start working for the country.
Yeah. Also,
We are,
here, a note to the viewers, please. See, please note one thing is, I will not tolerate abuse against the Prime Minister. This is not a podium for that. Okay. Second thing is, you do not trouble our guest. If you do not believe in our guest, you can go to another channel. Okay, we are not interested in hearing your abuses. And so straight away, my solution is just to block you. So don't even think of coming to this channel with any sort of abuse or disrespect to our guests. So that's one thing very clear. I do not want more viewers. I want quality viewers. So that's one thing you must know. Yeah.
So I think we should take them on show once. Whoever is trolling,
Yeah.
take
See,
them on their
Deepti,
face once.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, what happens is it gets very nasty, you see. And what happens is see, something like Sushant's diary is such a serious matter because it takes us through so many things. It's not only he's talking about politics, he's talking about so many things, you know. So it's very important that we concentrate on it. And if we don't concentrate on it, if these people keep coming in, we'll be putting our energy into that. And it's not necessary that what they are saying is so important for us. You know, it's only to distract us that these people come in, Deepti. So for us, less distraction when we block them.
Exactly, Minaji. Because in the slides also, Sushant was saying what we do is we cut them off.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do in most of the
Exactly. Yeah.
situations.
See, also, you know, see, I've seen in life also, Deepti. See, perhaps you know, sometimes we learn things much early. So early in life, initially when I got married, I was very young. I was around 23, 22 when I got married, and yet my ideas were very fixed. Like, see, whenever I used to meet any negative people or people who did not have good wishes for you, I would just try to avoid them. Then my husband used to make fun of me and say that, see, if you're going to do this, then you won't have any people left to meet in the world, you know. So because he was a quite a diplomat, and so I did
No,
not believe
I,
what he
Minaji,
said.
I agree with you that it's better that we enjoy our own company rather than I mean,
Yes,
rather
yes,
than just for the sake of being among people. If you have to tolerate people with
yes.
such negative mentality
And you know,
and
see,
aura.
you will find out that once you do that, you know, all your energy is now focused onto creative work or whatever work you're focusing on. So what happens is that, see, less tension, less stress, you know, no
Exactly.
need for a little bit of talk and all that. All this thing is not
And
important
they
because
too
you are
know,
born
and the
to do
people who
a
are
duty.
coming, and
Yeah,
Minaji, they too know, who are deliberately coming here to troll, they too know that this is the effect that will, if I respond, if you get if I get provoked. Initially
yes,
it used to happen, I mean,
yeah,
but I have learned my lesson, because
yeah,
this they are only there to provoke you,
yes,
and then take the attention from the main issue, because here we are reading something very important. Take
yes. See, you know, Deepti, how much of energy Sushant has used, you know, to give us this. Okay, so back, Deepti is off. So, to my viewers again, see, so much of energy has gone into these diaries. Can you imagine? I mean, though he's left the world, he's left so much for us to learn, you know, and so it's again, see, we have some trolls, we'll just block them. Some idiots are there, so we're just blocking them. Yeah. Okay. So here, clearly, viewers, and I know you're all with me. When you see anybody, please point it out, and we just block them. That's it. So there's nothing more to it. And we see we do not need the millions of viewers that other YouTube channels are bringing through their masala or whatever it is. So we are not here to provoke anybody. We are here. It's a decent channel where we discuss things and the latest news. So please, friends, try to understand that it disturbs the guest as well as me. So please, if you note it, do tell us, and we will remove these people from the channel. So thank you so much, friends, for always, I mean, being with us and supporting us. A lot of the people like Monica and Gloria, all of them, and even Karthik, they always support me by saying, Meena, remove these. Okay, Deepti is back, so just let me add her. Yeah, Deepti, I thought you said bye.
No, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
just
yeah. That's
yeah.
okay. That's okay. So yeah, that's what I'm telling the friends, viewers, is that, see, we are not here to increase the number of people. No, we're here only to add quality people who will then share the story to other millions of people. So we do not want fake
Exactly.
people coming here and saying that, see, what is the source, and why are we talking, and why is the prime minister acting like this? We are not here to answer any of these questions. Okay. So if
I
this
mean,
diary does not move you, then that means there's something wrong with your head.
Exactly. I mean, this is not for those people. There are many other
Yes,
people. There are many
yes,
other people, and we need to work on reaching the contents of this diary to those people.
yes. And
I mean,
also, Deepti, see
yeah,
the
we
kind of
should.
energy that you're putting in. It's not easy. You're coming and giving at least 1 hour and 15 minutes to us. It's not a joke. The amount of time you're spending on us because you want people to know. Similarly, I'm also
Exactly.
making it possible for them to know. So it's so much of energy from every side. So please, friends, viewers, try to understand it. And the only reason I'm very blunt, if you come here to abuse anybody, you're out. I don't need you. See, this is not I've been noticing other channels, Deepti, where like Karthik was saying, even the host indulges in abuse. I mean, this is not that channel where you need to increase your TRP by making people fight. you know
Meenaji, you should not even
yeah,
take your channel's name and those channels in the same breath.
yes,
That's an
yes, yes,
insult to your channel. Okay.
yeah.
That is simply not, yeah. We should not say, I'm only following one principle after my bad
Yeah,
experience responding to the
yeah,
trolls,
yeah,
that we need to do a lot of work. I mean,
yeah,
still the truth has to reach to a lot of people. A lot
yes,
of, I mean, constructive work is remaining. So let us
yes,
focus our energy on
yeah,
this rather than, these people, such kind of people who, I mean, are here just to ask questions for the sake of asking and disrupting and
yes,
all.
yes,
Let us not waste our time or energy or our emotion on
yeah,
such people.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Deepti, and we'll meet you for the next session. Till
And
that time,
Minaji, one more thing I want to know
yeah,
that
please,
yes,
yes,
slowly,
please,
slowly, 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 these diaries are catching.
yeah,
I mean, attention of other SSR warriors.
yes,
Okay,
that is good.
so
That's good. Yeah,
slowly it's going. So this is what these people are not able to digest
digest. Yeah,
because. But one thing.
yeah, yes, yes,
So see, we whatever the kind of people who will appreciate what is being read on your show, I mean
yeah,
Sushant's diaries and all, are the kind of people we want in this movement.
yes,
So the message is reaching the right people. All we need to do is make sure that your channel, I mean, it reaches to as many people as possible.
yeah. Thank you so much, Deepti. Very nice of you. And also, we'll see you in the next session.
Sure.
Good night from the viewers and from me.
Next session, yes. Next session we have, he mentions some conversation with Dhoni and what happened. There is something
With
explosive.
conversation with?
Dhoni. Dhoni
Okay,
during
okay, good.
Dhoni
Yeah,
and Srinivasan and IPL and
okay.
Hawala funding and everything, it
Great,
comes up.
great.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
meet you then.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Good night.